Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're working on our video editor. The pitch for the video editor is we would like to take our 2-hour VODs on Twitch, cut them down into something that's maybe more manageable for YouTube, maybe more palatable for people with short attention spans. Maybe I just want more freedom to be able to stream for longer and not worry about having to produce a 4-hour YouTube VOD that nobody will watch. We'll just kind of see what happens. But when I tried cutting down my video, or cutting down a VOD, it was going to take multi hours, much longer than it would take to actually produce the content, which is annoying because I want to spend most of my time coding, not that much time on editing videos and stuff. So the thought is, what if we were to create a video editor that kind of has this concept of an auto-generated script for the video on the right side, and you could scrub through that script and it would jump to the place in the video where those words were said, and you could export clips effectively by kind of selecting areas of the text and maybe refining them on the timeline or something. That's kind of the idea. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it won't work. Maybe I won't ever use it because maybe I will decide that the shorter video format doesn't work. But maybe it'll be cool, and so where we're at right now is we have the ability to play video, and we have this little audio visualization that we added yesterday. So if I go into some segment, I can be oh, I'm going to start talking here. What to do here? And that lines up pretty damn well. For those of you who were watching yesterday, you'll notice that the zoom and pan on this guy feel a lot better now. So I can actually zoom exactly where my mouse is, and the zoom is kind of exponential now, so it feels pretty good. And the plan for today is to try to create some sort of clipping interface. So as of right now, we have the ability to play video, but we can't really do anything with it. And the thought is, maybe we could get to a point where I could have a couple drag handles for where a clip starts and ends. Then I could maybe make it so that our player, say I start the clip here and end it here. I want the player to start here, play this section, and then stop, right? Simple. Then maybe we want the ability to have 2 clips. So maybe I'll say start here, end here, and then clip 2, start here, end here, right? We want those to play back to back and then stop. So that's the goal for today. I think the plan of action to get there is to kind of start by adjusting our video player so that we have we only work in clips. And so when we launch the editor with an empty project, maybe we'll start with just one big clip that's the whole video, and then we can start by kind of adjusting that clip, and then making sure that that starts and stops in the right spot. Then we can try to add an interface for adding multiple clips. So I'm kind of thinking right now, maybe there'll be a sidebar on the side, and each clip will get colored with a different color, maybe named in some way, and then maybe you can click them to edit them. Maybe they'll both show up on the timeline at once, and you can click one to select it. I'm not really sure how I want that to work yet, but at the very least, I know that we're going to want multiple clips with multiple handles. And once we have an interface for adding and removing them, then we can start actually trying to play back multiple clips back to back. So that's the plan. That is the plan. And I think we can just jump in. Okay. So I think, okay, I guess background for those of you who have not been following along. We have general app architecture. We have most of the main interesting stuff happening in Zig. He is talking to FFmpeg. And FFmpeg basically just gives it an interface for saying hey, could you give me a frame? And he'll be yeah, here's a frame, and it has a timestamp as well as data, kind of hand wavy. Depending on the type of the data, we're either going to render this in some OpenGL buffer that we display in the GUI, or we'll pass it off to a library we're using called mini audio. And so this is just a wraparound system audio APIs. So you could just directly interface with ALSA or Jack or Pulse or whatever the fuck Windows uses. I think that's some sort of ASIO based thing. I can't remember, but I didn't want to deal with all that. So mini audio deals with abstraction around audio. And what I'm thinking about here, why I'm bringing this up, is because FFmpeg doesn't actually play back the data or play back things for us, right? It gives us frames that with timestamps, and then we feed those into the right place at the right time. So what I think we're gonna have to do is, well, right now we have this like player state thing, and he kind of keeps track of like when we started, as well as like current time, like pause state, and like seeks, and like between this this data, he can calculate like when the next frame should be shown, because he'll see the timestamp on the next frame and be like, oh, okay, so the timestamp, given that it's been like 30 seconds since the start, but we paused for 10 seconds and then seek backwards by 5 seconds, like then we can kind of figure out where we are. Timestamp start minus end, or will it like, yeah, it's like, it's kind of like it's effectively time since the start of the video, effectively. So I think that we're going to have to introduce like this new kind of like clip thing, and he's going to have to communicate with probably this guy and this guy for when we get to the end of a clip, we need to ask the FFmpeg decoder to like jump ahead, and we're going to have to ask our like player state thing to keep track of like the fact that we just jumped in time, right? Because in the video's perspective, if we jump forward by 30 seconds, we have to also inform that, like, we also have to know that we want to go 30 seconds into the future, if that makes sense. And then just to complete the diagram, there is also Rust, and he does GUI, and that's kind of it. And so we have like this like C interface on both sides that like talk to each other, and they like feed data back and forth effectively. Why do you need Zig in this situation? Can't use Rust for the entire thing? Yeah. Why do I need to do anything? Why do I need to make the video editor? And the answer is because I fucking feel like it. So I feel like writing Zig, and so here we are. Apologies for the second ad if you guys are getting hit by it. That is annoying, but the stream crashed, and so Twitch is... I don't know why Twitch isn't smart enough to be like, you were just streaming, and you just restarted the stream. Obviously, this is the same stream, but doesn't figure it out, so... It is what it is. Apologies, though. Apologies. One second. Okay, so I think in my head, I'm thinking that probably we're gonna add some sort of like clip manager. I know we hate the name manager because we have PTSD from the 2000s, but I think it really is a clip manager. I think that is what it is. And he's gonna have some concept of like clip bounds or something. So I guess he's gonna have some sort of struct in him, and he's gonna have like just like a start and an end, right? And we're working everywhere in floating point timestamps in seconds. That might be a mistake. Don't really know if that's a mistake, but eventually we're probably gonna find out that we're getting like floating point imprecision issues, and then we'll get mad that we propagated this throughout the whole code base. But it is, we're just living there anyways. It is what it is. What is it mad about? Tuple, is it because of like this? Yeah, it is. Okay. So then we're probably going to have like some amount of clips. Do you use any code completions? Yeah, I use language servers pretty heavily. They're pretty great. So we're going to have some form of clips that are going to use the standard library's array list. So we import std. And this is going to be like std array list of clips. And I wonder if there's like anything else he's got to do. Probably not. That's probably it. So what's going to happen is like the GUI is going to probably, like the way that GUI generally interacts with the app side is through like an asynchronous channel. So he's going to like emit events, and the Zig side like kind of like polls the Rust side to say like, is there anything that you want me to do right now? So he's probably going to pull the Rust side and say, hey, is there any work for me to do? Is there like any clips to be added? But I guess we're actually not dealing with adding clips right now. We're only going to be dealing with the like adjustment of clips. So probably we're going to have some sort of like GUI action of set clip start. Maybe let's think about this. There are multiple ways we could do this. We could have like, we could do this where we have like a start and end event, and we just handle both of those individually. Or we could have like a GUI action clip edit, and we could do something more like REST-like, where he has a list of the clips and he just sets the clip to this state. right? You know, like when you do like REST APIs, you'll do something like get like stuff like clips one, and then he's gonna return like some JSON that's like ID 1 start 32 and 100, and then the idea is that like you call put on clips one, and you just like copy paste this guy in, but with like your adjusted values. So you say like, oh, I want this to be like 60 and like 55, right? Or I guess that's invalid. 65, right? So we could do it that way, or we could have like individual events for set start and set end. I think I like this like idea of like putting the whole thing in at once better. I think I like that better, because like even though it's in the same process, I do kind of think about like the GUI and the rest of the code as like front and back end, and it feels like if as these get more complex, this will probably be easier to work with, because on the Rust side you can just like set struct members and then fire them over. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Is it cross-platform? I don't think that there's anything in here that shouldn't work on Windows, but I haven't tried it. It does have like dependencies on some like OpenGL and FFmpeg stuff, kind of baked into like the build system. So, but I imagine that if these libraries are like findable, it shouldn't be that much work to get it running on Windows. eGUI is completely cross-platform. Mini Audio is cross-platform. Build script uses some Linux utils too. Oh, because it patches the fucking Mini Audio. Yeah. I forgot about that. But I mean, that would work in Cygwin, probably. I'd have to try it. It's not really a priority for me, but I think that, like, maybe run it, like... how do I... Like, the way I view this stuff is, like, I make this for me, right? And if it happens to be useful for somebody else, that's great, right? That's cool. Like, if somebody wants to pull the GitHub and fuck around with it, go for it. But I'm not, like... I don't want to be, like, an open source maintainer, right? And so, like, I don't want to support other people's stuff that much. I don't really care if anybody uses it, because I make it for me, right? If that makes sense. Where you could make something with the intent of other people using it, and then you have to like struggle to keep up and make sure that it works for them, etc., etc. But I just don't want to do that. So cross-platform will not be a priority, but I also am not going to like go out of my way to not make it work. You know, I'm gonna like try my best, but not stress out about it. Okay, so we need some kind of like concept of like a clip, and so he's just gonna have like a start and an end. And I wonder if it kind of makes sense if we're going to be defining this in C-land. We might actually just want to reuse the C definition here to make sure that everything stays in sync. Right, like I could just not define this here, because it's like kind of like a duplicated definition for no reason. And then I could just store C clips here. And probably these clips probably want like a integer ID. So uint64t ID. Then when they call clip edit, they can pass in with their action that like they want. They just paste this thing in there. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, so we talked about the other day when we added this like seek support that we have like this float seek position just embedded into the action, and we were like, well, if we have more than one action, we're going to have to like make a union here so that we're like not you only have the data that you care about. And I think it's time to do that now. So we'll do something like union data, I guess. Oh, we don't even have to name it. We just say union data like this in this language, and we'll have seek position here, and then I guess you can have like struct. Or I guess we just have a clip. Is that how this works? I feel like that's how it works. So then you could like do, if you get tag seek, then you look at data seek position. But if you get tag clip edit, you go to data clip. I'm a little rusty on my C, but I think that's how it works. I guess we'll find out. This is changing enough that we will probably not compile anymore, so we can hit zig build and just see what breaks. First of all, he's just mad because the header is invalid of fucking course. Because here I need to write struct because I guess their way of like disambiguating stuff, or the other way around and get a segfault. Yeah. Okay, and I guess maybe there's also like none. I don't really know. Like, how do I guess in the case where it's I just leave this memory undefined is what I'm supposed to do. In the case where I'm not either of these, because like my stupid like Rust and Zig brain is telling me that I want to do this, but that's just not how this works. So I think that you just leave it undefined and then just don't fucking touch it, like, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. Hats off to open source maintainers. I can never do it. I've seen some people getting sucked into their project for being the only thing they have time for. Yeah, it sounds awful. Like like seriously, hats off to them. I agree. So I guess here, does Rust have the ability to just leave this shit undefined? I actually don't know how this works. I guess, okay, I have no idea how Rust acts with C unions. I've never done this before. So, Rust C union. Let's just see what it does. Okay, so he has union, F1, F2. Initialization of the union is just by, using the name of the thing and then setting it. And they can access it this way. Okay, so they kind of want me to do something like... the fact that this is unnamed makes it kind of hard to work with here. I don't know what type name it's going to use, and so I might need to name it. Or I wonder if I can, like, make a zeroed out structure and then just set the fields that I want. That feels more reasonable. Which I guess in Rust is like a maybe on init. So you almost want to do like, there's a way to do like zeroed in here. Yeah. So it creates a maybe on init t in an uninitialized state, and then you set the fields that you want and type assume in it. And then you have to be really fucking careful because the rules about unsafe and uninitialized memory are like really tricky. And this is like the one area where I feel like Rust has like really dropped the ball. Is I really struggle with like the rules around what is allowed to be done here, because it's like kind of sketchy because you can't just like guess and test. It's kind of like the same as C, where like undefined behavior is like a, how do you say this? Like an opportunity for the compiler to ignore you, right? Like if you do something like in C, we'll do what enu, and we'll say set ft equals c. In C, if you do something like test function void, if you say like if like dereference null, and then like do stuff in here, the compiler can like look at this and be like, you're not fucking allowed to dereference null. And so I know that this can never happen. It's not true that that can never happen. You can like, you know, you can make this, you can get here by like a little bit trickier ways, right? You can say like, if some condition pointer equals null, and then like dereference the pointer here. And the compiler can like kind of like backtrack this, and he can say like, because I know that this pointer can't be dereferenced, I know that this condition can never be true, and it will just delete a fuck ton of your code, right? And so like that's kind of like the danger with undefined behavior, is like it might not do that right now, but in the future it might start doing that, is like the kind of thing to worry about. So when you're working with like maybe uninitialized memory in Rust, I worry so much about like, I don't know how this stuff works very well. Their memory model isn't like super well defined, and I know that like the whole reason maybe on init exists is because it's patching a hole in like, zero initializing a variable of reference type causes instantaneous undefined behavior. No, like stuff like this is just like, it's scary. It's really scary. And so like, yeah, right, like this what the fuck, right? Maybe on init zero to assume init is immediate undefined behavior. Mem zeroed immediately undefined behavior, and it could just be that I'm too like, I haven't read enough to understand. but like I can't, like this. Like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to zero initialize my struct then? Oh, this is uninitialized. So maybe zeroed here is okay? I don't know. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking about and worried about when I think about how the fuck do I initialize this union if I don't really give a shit what's in it. You know? Okay. How do you make like a const function in this language? How do you do this? Const function. Yeah, okay. So let's just kind of see what happens here. Let's see if we can get into a compiling state. Oopsies. Just knocked over a can that was on the table. Oopsies. So I guess we're kind of saying std mem maybe on init of GUI action. Okay. Then what? Zeroed. So we say, hey, can we like return this thing? And then we say ret.tag is equal to this. Except that's not how this maybe on init works. What's bro yapping about? Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I am yapping sometimes. How do I like set a fucking value in this thing? Maybe on init x right. Right. Okay, so I say ret right. And what is the like API here? Right. Takes in a value, but that's not what I want. I want to like write into like part of it. I just want to like partially initialize it. How? Oh, as pointer probably is how I'm supposed to do this. So I get a mutable pointer, assign the value, and then assume in it. I guess. Who fucking knows, man? Here we dereference this thing and set tag to this. And then return ret assume in it. I think this is how this works, but we'll see. I hope that I can do this at in a const function. I also didn't check that. I think they said zeroed is valid here in const since some amount of time. Yeah, const since 175, so I think we're chilling. And then for now, I'm just going to replace these all with make none just to get compiling, and then we'll fix it in a second. Unimplemented. Unimplemented. There we go. Okay. Let's just see if that compiles. GUI action. I forgot the fucking arrow. I always forget the arrow because I haven't been running Rust for a while. It's a hard life. Turbofish. And, this has to be fucking unsafe. Fine. Fine. I get it. You're scared. Mutable references are not allowed in constant functions. Okay, so I just can't do this. So this just has to be make none now, and I just can't use... Can I do static like this? No, because this is not going to let me initialize these at fucking static time. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. This is gonna be called none. And we're just gonna have to fucking make other functions for toggle pause. What these used to be consts, now they just can't be. And we're just gonna have to replace them with functions, because this is what it is. This is the type of shit that Rust can make quite frustrating. That I just don't have to deal with now that I'm writing more Zig. Which is nice, but not nice right now. What else is there? Toggle pause, close. It's a hard Rust life. Yeah, good one. Seek clip edit, which doesn't exist yet. Okay, so all of the places now that used toggle pause get replaced with toggle pause. All the places that used none get replaced with none, which is just here, and then close gets replaced with close. And now do we fucking compile? Oh my god. Private function. Shut the... Oh! You stupid piece of machine. I hate you. I hate you. And it's just like, I just have to follow his rules, but I don't want to. You know? Okay. We got a lot farther. So seek position is on the zig side. Here, I just need to replace this with data.seek position. And now we're chilling. Okay, so now we can go back into the Rust code and try to initialize this structure when we want to. So toggle pause is... Maybe we'll do like a little helper function that's like make action, and we'll take in the tag of a GUI action tag, except this isn't typed, so I don't know if I'm just supposed to write like U32 here. I guess we'll see. Not sure how this works. And then we'll just do all of this here, and then here we can just say make action GUI action tag GUI action none. Here we do it with toggle pause. And this one we'll do with close. And this one we'll do with seek action. And then the only difference is that here, first of all, these guys have to be end of line go away. We need to return those types, and then here we just need to say let mute ret is equal to this, and then ret dot data dot seek position is equal to pause, turn ret. Okay, I think that works. I think it works. Seek action was stupid. That's not how this is called. It's just GUI action seek. Why would we type action twice? How does it feel to work with Zig? Last time I tried Zig, it was underdeveloped and not very well documented. Yeah, the documentation thing is definitely not solved yet. I am personally of the opinion, generally, that docs don't matter that much, but it's also because I suck at reading them. Right? Like, I'm way better at spelunking through the source code than I am at reading the words that they put on the function that I called. I don't know why, I'm just, like, it just works way better for me. So I don't really have any problem jumping into the standard library and just, like, poking around. But I can see why that would be an issue for someone. But it feels nice. It's just, like, a lot like C, but with new stuff. I don't know. And it hasn't pissed me off yet, which is a high bar, I think. I get pissed off a lot. So, like, just using something that doesn't irritate me is like, ooh, how nice. Like this, for example, I guess this is I don't think this is Zig's fault. I think that, like, there's something wrong with something on my system that's causing, like, the link times just explode every once in a while. But that pisses me off a little bit. Let's use our Big Buck Bunny demo just because, where is it? Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay. So it looks like everything's still working, which is a good indication that we didn't fuck up too bad. Oh, that's so loud. It hurts my ears. I should perfect the Zig build command. Not a bad idea. I kind of assumed that it would be shelling out to stuff, and that would be a pain, but have I tried Zig's on link instead of LLD? I tried using their, like, yeah, I did try turning off use LLVM and use LLD at some point. But my own, like, I saw failing tests immediately. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna touch it right now. Like, failing tests in my own code. And I think it was, I do, what is it? It's in my lint script. I run everything under Valgrind. I guess now I'm running it in release mode, so it's less of a problem. But I was seeing, like, tons and tons of Valgrind errors when running the, like, built-in version, not the LLVM version. And so I was like, I don't want to think about the implications of that. For this project, did you consider GPUI from Zed? My understanding from, like, the Hacker News article I glanced at was that GPUI is, like, kind of like a really, really low-level windowing system. Kind of, like, more than a, like, GUI framework. So I think that it would kind of, like, live on, like, a GLFW layer. Not like a GUI framework layer, which is what I want. But I didn't actually read it too closely, so I could be wrong there. But I did not even look. Okay, so we are going to say, hey, we have some sort of clip. Isn't it work in progress on list? Oh, that's another good point, is that I wouldn't really want to use something like that. Anyways. Okay, so this is going to be clip edit. And we are going to set the clip. So we're just going to say... how do you do this? Let mute ret is equal to this. Ret.data.clip is equal to clip. And then we return ret. Okay. So also, our app state is going to have to contain a list of clips. So probably what we're going to do is we're going to say struct clip star clips here, and then we'll also pass in like a uint 64t of like num clips. Then when we construct our snapshot, we will just populate this with this thing. Which is going to be a little annoying on the Zig side, maybe. We can kind of take a look at that. Well, first let's build. Do we still build? We might. We might not. Okay, he doesn't like this because I have to dereference this. Fine. Fine. Okay. Everything compiles. So let's look at our Zig side. And our snapshots, app state snapshot. So we have like this, okay, right. So every frame, or I shouldn't say every frame, every iteration on the Zig side, we set the snapshot given our, like, from our current app state. So in this case, we're going to do something like const clips is equal to self. Well, we don't have our clip manager here yet, but we're going to have to put it there. I'm also kind of assuming that we're going to want a clip manager here instead of just embedding it into the app, but we might just like ditch this whole thing later and like merge it together if we need to. The pattern I've been using is that anything that requires deallocation goes into this like app refs thing. This is like something I haven't really done before, but I kind of like the idea of is that like I want like the app to have all of this state, but the state is kind of like intertwined and intermingled. So I wanted to decouple the like construction of all and destruction order of all these guys from like the like class that is this thing, especially because like if I'm like copying this thing around, all of a sudden like references between these guys, if they're not pointers, like break because the memory locations of them move around and stuff. So what I've been playing with on this project is I have like clip manager here, which is a reference pointer, whatever, to a clip manager, who has to come from const clip manager is equal to import clip manager zig, okay? And then I just construct this guy in main where I can like handle all of the like ordering and destruction and stuff like that. Keep everything on the stack. So here we're going to do the same thing where we have const clip manager is equal to import clip manager zig, which means that we now need to introduce like our init and dinit functions here. So this is going to be const clip manager is equal to this, boom. And this is just going to turn, I guess he needs to take in an allocator, which means that he needs to say const allocator is from the standard library. And he's just going to return a new structure that is himself, and he's going to say clips is equal to, let's make a type alias for this, so, because I always regret not doing this. So we'll say clip list is equal to this. Yank, paste, replace with a semicolon, clip list. And then here we'll say clip lists init with the allocator, boom. And then we need a dinit as well. So dinit void no input other than self, which is our clip manager, self clips dinit. Okay. which means in main, we can now say our const var, probably var, clip manager is a clip manager, init with the allocator, boom, defer, we deinit this thing, or else we will leak. And then all we have to do here is say we have now a clip manager. It's clip manager. Boom. Lots of boring ass piping, but I think we are now in a state where when we update the app state, we can just say that we have refs. I guess it's just clip. Fuck, what's it called? The clips is just self refs clip manager clips. This is a little sketchy. This is sketchy. Because if we do this, num clips is this. This is a problem. Because these are not like mutex locked, and these are pointing to the same memory. So I think probably actually what I want to do is I want to store a copy of the clips over here. So every time we like snapshot the state, we have like the actual owner of the state who's getting modifications applied to him, whatever. But then when we pass it over to the UI, we say, hey, we're going to like stash this over here, give you a reference to those things. And every time we replace the snapshot, then we will replace it. Does that work? No, because the GUI is not holding this mutex. Gross. Okay, which means, we actually want to do like a two-stage thing. We want to like copy clips. We want to copy the clips into this here, and then we want to say on the Rust side, hey, when you're done with this thing, when you're done with this snapshot, like let us deallocate the memory for you. Which is kind of nasty. Okay, so how does what does our interface here look like? We have this like app state snapshot function that takes in our app state, who is just like basically a holder of this stuff. And so I guess what we're going to do is here where we have app state snapshot, we're going to have app state free. And he's going to take in the state as well as a... maybe calling it free is a little misleading. Maybe we'll call it app state dinit. That seems reasonable. If you use the C memory allocator in Zig and the rest side deallocate it, I think it's generally frowned upon, even if you're using the same allocator to do that, because you don't really know that like Rust is going to continue using libcmalloc, right? He might decide to use jemalloc under the hood. So generally, I think that it's like, even within C libraries talking to other C libraries, I think I at least always wrap the malloc and free calls with my own malloc and free calls just in case, right? Like I think that it would maybe work, but I think that we shouldn't do it. Just kind of by convention. The fact that this guy's giving back like a structure and then we're saying like you have to free it feels a little bit like, you know, code smell stinky, right? Like the idea that like I'm almost considering making this a pointer just so that it's clear that we have to delete it. But I think I'm not going to do that. But on this side, we can take this in by pointer. I think that makes sense. So we'll call this the snapshot. And we'll take in the snapshot that we're trying to deinitialize. So do I write const here? Yeah, I do. I write const app state snapshot. And I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's fine. Then here we're going to do... Okay. I have to get out of the habit of vertical splits in this like setup because the line wrapping is like too aggressive and it doesn't work. Okay. By the way, have you tried the GF debugger? It's a nice front end for GDB. I have seen someone use that at some point, and it did seem very nice, but no, I have not tried it. There's also... I know we were talking about this the other day. I forgot to mention that another thing that always pissed me off is that those GDB wrappers, they use this like MI debugging interface, and they will often like ask the MI debugging interface to say like, hey, could you give me a list of all the local variables? And my experience with that, at the very least when I was using like embedded GDB on like a camera over the network, was that that would like sometimes just absolutely like hang everything, and like just to get locals that I didn't care about, it would like hang my whole GDB session, and that pissed me off so much. And so that's another reason why I use command line GDB. It could be that like I've got like a what's the word? Like a bias against it because of like something that happened years ago. Right? But like it's probably maybe not true anymore. But I'm like kind of okay with just using the command line at this point. Yeah, PTSD I guess is what I was thinking. But then I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to like say that I have like GDB PTSD, because like in the same way that you're not supposed to say that you have like OCD because you like it when there are squares lined up, because it's like you know, people are like, you shouldn't say that because it like it's what's it word devalues like actual OCD, right? So I don't know if I'm supposed to like not make fun of PTSD. So I was just trying to dodge saying it. Just in case. Just in case. Okay, so let's make our clips copy here. And I guess what we're going to do is every time we set the snapshot, this almost is asking to be a different API. Because here I need to copy these guys. Or we can set the snapshot here and he can be smart enough to copy them out here. PTSD of making fun of PTSD. Yeah, let's try that. So if we were like, if we did this, we took in an allocator. I guess he kind of needs to store an allocator actually, if we're going to do it this way. If we are going to do it this way. Okay, guys, we're getting crazy. I don't really know if this is going to work out. We might delete all this code in a second, but for now, it feels like I'm just kind of like going where the code takes me, and we'll kind of figure out if that sucks ass or not later. We will see. Sometimes it does. So here we need to initialize our app state with our allocator. And we can kind of try saying that when we call set snapshot, we set the snapshot with the C API, which feels a little weird, but within here we lock this mutex and we copy out. We basically look at snapshot. Why is the fucking thing not in there? Hello? I guess autocomplete isn't helping me here. But in GUI H, we have that our snapshot has clips. So we're kind of saying like, hey, we're going to allocate a new thing. So self allocate, and we want to alloc C clip with the snapshot num clips. So this is a failable thing now, which means that here we have to write try, which means here this is failable, which means here we have to write try, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we'll say let const clips copy is this. Maybe we have to write var here. I'm not sure. Const var probably const is probably fine. Probably fine. And then we'll just mem copy from snapshot dot clips 0 to snapshot num clips into our new clips copy, and then we will adjust the snapshot to be the clips copy. A little hacky, definitely a little hacky, but it keeps the interface feeling reasonable. With like, I'm not like, it feels like a violation of my expectations when I call set snapshot here. Feels like a little bit of violation, but we'll see. Fix me. This feels like a trick because there is an allocation and copy within set snapshot. Right, like I'm kind of only doing this way because I didn't want to create a new function where I pass in like each of the state parameters individually here. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try this for now and we'll see how it feels. We'll see how it feels. Certainly everything's gonna break now. Oh wait, we need to go back to our free function, which we didn't implement yet. So app state d in it, we pass in our snapshot. And the only thing that we have to do here is after we lock, do we even have to lock the mutex? I don't think we do. We can just say alloc.free snapshot.clips from 0 to snapshot clips non-clips. And this is state alloc free. That feels okay. And now we just have to make sure that on the Rust side, we are deinitializing our snapshot correctly. So on the Rust side, we need to, well, okay, first let's implement this app state dinit function. So there's going to be app state dinit takes in this app state as well as a snapshot, which is a struct app state snapshot star. Const goes here. Where the fuck does const go? Here? Yeah. And this is not how you do this in this language, which is probably why I was getting confused. Probably. Okay, now on the Rust side, we need to call that when our snapshot goes out of scope. So, snapshot. Here we're just going to do something like struct snapshot holder is a tuple that holds a C bindings app state snapshot. And we have to impl drop for snapshot holder so that when it goes out of scope, he drops it. So we'll just call C bindings app state. What is it? App state dinit. App state snapshot dinit. Oh, whatever. We'll call it app state dinit for now, and I'll fix it later. Self 0. But we also actually need to pass in the app state because we need to get a handle to the allocator. So I guess this guy, we'll store app state, which is a app state mutable pointer to an app state, and then we have the snapshot, which is the C bindings app state snapshot. And this has to be C bindings as well, probably. And then here we can pass in self app state, and this here we can pass in self snapshot. Okay. That feels okay. Maybe we'll even make like an impl snapshot holder. We'll make like a function new, which is the convention in this language. And we will pass in the app state like this. That feels okay. And he's going to return a snapshot holder, which will be like snapshot holder app state, and we have to like actually get the state here. So let snapshot is this, and then snapshot. Okay. That might work. How do you even get started learning to make a video editor? I mean, I just started, right? You're just like, I knew that I needed to get frames for a thing. I knew how to put them on the screen. I knew how to get audio and put them in the thing. I just started Googling libraries, I guess. Okay. So let's do this. If everybody is happy, this might all just work out. Most complex things start as simple things. Yeah, that makes sense. Would you make a project using C? Yeah, I mean, I like C's fun. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't know if I would just because I don't really know what scenario I would choose C over anything else, right? Like, would I choose C over Zig at this point in any personal project? Probably not. But doesn't mean it's not. Doesn't mean it's a bad language. How do I do this? Impl deref for snapshot folder. I kind of want this to like act as if it is just this underlying snapshot. So I think we take in self by reference here, and we return a snapshot holder like this, or snapshot. I actually don't remember this at all, and not having a language server is really fucking me here. And then here we just return self dot snapshot. Does that make everybody else a little happier? Use stood opsdref for core opsdref, so oops. Hi, this goes here. Wonderful, wonderful, and then seems like that didn't do what I wanted, so let's kind of just clean these errors up one by one. This is app state, like this. What else? Help, a struct with a similar name exists. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, yeah. App state snapshot. What does it think it is? It thinks it's, app state snapshot. That's kind of cool that the compilers, like, notice the capitalization. I really like that. I really like that. Missing target. So we say, type target. Where did it go? Here is equal to this, I think, and then we say target like this. I think. It's been a while. It's been a while. Okay. Then we got close here. It was just at 454. We need on progress bar show. This guy can take in a and snapshot holder. Okay. Then this will take in state by reference. Okay. Okay, we're getting close. Call to unsafe function, 426. Shut the fuck up. I don't mind. Like, I get it. It's unsafe, but chill the fuck out. Dereference of raw pointer. Oh my god. So I guess this just gets unsafe as well. Okay. Close. Fuck. Clip manager found clip manager at 169. So this needs a little ampersand on him. Sure. No biggie. No big dealio. And then no field name snapshot in struct app state snapshot. Okay, so what the fuck is going on there? Why are you verbally abusing the Rust compiler? Because he's making me mad. And when things make you mad, you get to verbally abuse them. That's the rule, and that's the rule for people as well. App 182. Just like this. Oopsies. Oopsies. Okay, now what we should probably do here is just make sure that everything is hooked up, right? So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to say stood debug print deinitting, just to make sure that everything's good. Okay, that deinitting is getting called, which is good, and you're asking, can you show progress? And so here is a good opportunity for that. So check this out. We can zoom in on this timeline and like pan around, and we can jump to exactly when some action happens. Like here we can see some sort of sound and it lines up. So that's where we're at right now. Working on clipping. Sorry, from a Twitter post, your content is great. Keep it up. Thanks. Thanks. That Twitter post did wonders. My viewership on YouTube like doubled. It was pretty crazy. Not that I should care or that you guys should care. So we'll just pretend I didn't say that and keep going. Okay. Nicer than MPV. Well, I mean, it does a lot of MPV. I think is a lot better in that it works. I think there's a lot of cases where what I have is not going to work good, and so only in some ways. Okay, what was I doing next? I wanted to present the clips in the UI somehow. And we probably have all of the things that we need to do that. So let's initialize this with the decoder. Yeah. So we can say a const decoder is equal to import decoder zig, and we'll say const video decoder is equal to decoder.decoder. Yeah, okay. And then here we can just initialize our clips with one big clip. So we can say like decoder.duration, and we'll say const clip is equal to this. No. How do we want to do this? We have our GUI.h defines the clip, and it's just ID start and end. So I guess it's just that we create a new clip with ID 0 start and end. Yeah. So ID is equal to 0, start is equal to 0, and end is equal to dec duration. Yeah, I don't have a Twitter. I do not. I've never been a fan of, I think I missed a lot of social media trains. I don't have, like, Instagram, don't have Twitter. No, I tried using TikTok once. I don't get what y'all like about it. It seemed really bad when I tried it. So I should probably slurp those things up at some point, but I don't really care. Okay. So I guess we have our list, var clip list equal this, and we say if we error on anything, we do this. Otherwise, we succeeded, and then we just say clip list dot append with the clip. Okay. Once you curate a For You page, the TikTok is the most addicting app. I can see, like, so I've, like, opened YouTube Shorts and scrolled it a little bit, and I totally see the, like, addiction cycle. Like, I totally get how that works. But on TikTok, I just couldn't get it to show me anything that didn't make me, like, say, like, what the fuck is this? Why are you showing this to me? Like, even content, like, that was stuff that I'm interested in was still, like, just formatted in a way where I'm just like, this is garbage. Like, I just couldn't get it to do it right. But I'm like, I can... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that it is all garbage. I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get it to give me what I wanted. Okay. So, I guess we can check now in the GUI if everything is hooked up right, which it might be, actually, shockingly. If we go into our GUI, we might be able to write down what our clips are, which would be cool. Let's just write down somewhere. Somewhere. Here, maybe. We're going to just write down print line state dot clip. Okay, so we'll say for I in 0 to state num clips. I hope that's how you do this in this language. I actually can't remember ever. We're going to log the clip. So we're going to say ID start end. Simple. And then we just say state dot clips I dot ID. I guess we'll say let clip is equal to state clips I, just to avoid some of the bullshit. And then we can say clip ID clip start clip end. Twitter is good for finding AI papers. I would believe that. I think that, like, the idea that RSS feeds are gone has really fucked us. And I can totally see Twitter as, like, an okay replacement for RSS. I can totally see that. Call to unsafe function. Fine. Like, fuck off. I don't care. He doesn't like that we didn't initialize the clip manager with the decoder that we want to use now, so This just takes in and deck, I think is what we called it. No field name. Oh, we have to write try here as well because it's failable now. Okay. So we're not getting any logs, which is kind of odd. I would expect some. So maybe let's print line clip manager num clips. And this is certainly just going to be 0. But let's just double check. You know, just in case. Yeah, he does just think there's 0. Has the constant dot squiggle spam and zig non-noisy is one of the things that rustied my jimmies. Rustled. Oh, that's an L. That makes way more sense. Rustled my jimmies. That's about the language. No, it doesn't bother me. I'm okay with it. Like, you need to initialize your stuff somehow. And I don't really know if there's like if it's worse than any other way. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Okay, so when we set snapshot, here we are getting the num clips from the clip manager items len, which is surprising because clip manager.zig, we do append one thing. So the length should be greater than 1. So what the fuck is going on here? Update app state. Is this actually called? It is called on every iteration of our main loop. So yeah, what the fuck? Did I not save this? This is saved. It could be here that when we set snapshot, we fuck this up in some way. Yeah, we do heavily fuck this up. In that, oh no, here self-inner equals snapshot, self-inner clips equals clips copy pointer. I'm not really happy here, so let's do this, gdb, run, oops, I forgot to breakpoint here, continue, print snapshot, what's we got? Okay, clips is uninitialized, and num clips is 0, why? What the fuck? Oops, list 100 or something. I don't know. Where the fuck am I? Here we go. List self refs clip manager. Clip manager. Self refs not defined. Oh, he self refs. Oops. So he should have a completely uninitialized clips. Why? Did I accidentally error defer D in it? He should have one thing. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? I think that's in my head from this meme of a blind kid playing football. I think this has just been stuck in my head. I think they put like this like metal track over it. I shouldn't laugh. It's just the music on top is just so funny. Good on him. Like I'm not laughing at him for playing football. It's just what a funny fucking clip. Okay. Okay, so why is this nulled out? Because this shouldn't be deinitialized till this ends. This clip should be in there. Okay, let's breakpoint here as well. So here we should see clip source file is more recently executable. Why is this more recently executable? Is zig built? Is my zig cache fucked up? Did kind of feel like my zig cache was fucked up. That's it, you're canceled? Yeah, I do have to be a little careful. Laughing at blind kids probably isn't the call. How does your YouTube load so fast? Your internet 190, like big number gigabytes? I mean, that clip was in like 340p, right? Like it was very few bits, I think. Okay, GDB, breakpoint here, run, p clips. No, info locals. What is it again? Clip list. So here our clip list is populated. That's a good sign. And then can we breakpoint on? Ah, fuck, I forgot already. But here you just still say 0. Okay, we need to. I should do it this way. Edit run GDB. This is how I like to do it usually. So we set file zig out in this. What the fuck is that? Video editor, and then we args with res, or I think it's just /big bug bunny here. And then before we do that, we just set our breakpoints by in here. Are you returning the right thing? Seems possible that I'm not. Let's look again. Init. Were you doing that thing? Were you doing that thing where you ask, like, do you think that you have, like, is the sky blue? And then, like, you're doing the thing where, like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, I'm a fucking dumbass. Yes, the sky is blue. Like, did you see it? And you just didn't want to be like, you didn't want to, like, make it sound like you were telling me that I did it wrong, but you were just asking. Like, it's like, it does seem like, okay, now we have a seg fault. Much better. Feels much, much better. So, why is that? We must be doing something wrong. Okay, and it is here. So why? PI 0. So dereferencing this thing is invalid memory. Why? Why? Oops, P state. So he has this. Why does he think that there's no member named clips? Oh, maybe because I have to do pointer dereference? No? P state? Oh, oops, I'm high. State.snapshot.clips. Oops. What's going on here? Cannot access memory. Okay, so we must just be fucking up our allocation deallocation, but I don't really understand why. I appreciate this bug more than the other one is so real. Well, I do. I really do appreciate it more. It's a better bug. It's at least progress. At least it's progress. Self inner clips is equal to clips copy pointer. When we dinit, we free the clips copy. Clips copy is an allocated chunk of these things. I wonder, I guess we can log allocations and deallocations and just see what the fuck is going on. What the fuck is going on? So we'll say this, we want to print, is it like this, I think, to write a pointer in this language? So here we can just say we want to init this thing, and then de-init snapshot clips pointer. And let's at least see how fucked up that is. No. Of course not. Oh, because this is just the pointer directly like this. Run. So here we init this thing, de-init that thing, init this thing, de-init that thing. Okay, so we're just, what is state clips? P state snapshot. So we have this thing that we did in fact de-init. And we also de-init it. Oh no, this is right. So this is 2000. So why did we de-init this here before logging? We must have just fucked up our drop implementation over here somehow. Did I call app state de-init more than once? No, it's only in the drop trait for the snapshot holder. So why the fuck is this drop being called before this? Oh, this is why, you know, I know I'm so zig-pilled now, but like, language complexity is such a pain in the ass. Like, why is this getting called? Right? Like, am I fucking stupid? Like, this is how I'm supposed to be able to do that, right? Is that like, I create my little holder. When I drop the holder, I call de-init. Why the fuck is this happening in another case? So breakpoint here is how we like to do this, and then we replace this with zig, build, and gdb x run.gdb. Okay. No, is it x like this? There we go. Nope. How do I fucking run this again? I do this all the time. I guess we can man gdb -x. Execute gdb commands from file. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to write input here. That's why. And this isn't args. It's just like this. There we go. Okay. So where's this coming from? Oh my god. Up, 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 up. Oh no, this is frame 2? 463? Okay, so that's like a fine place for this to... Wait. 463. Okay. Oh, hold on. Am I doing something fucking stupid? I might be. I might be doing something fucking stupid. So let's go back to app.zig. I'm copying this guy when I set the snapshot and then de-initting him on the GUI thread. So, yeah, that's just stupid. That's just fucking stupid. What's happening is that we have, like, one thread over here that's, like, in Zig land. He's going, like, set snapshot. And he's, like, then going back here and doing this again, right? He's just, like, doing some sort of, like, set snapshot every once in a while. And then Rust is calling, like, get snapshot. And he's, like, doing this at, like, some other frequency. And, like, he's freeing it every time, which is just stupid. He shouldn't be doing that. What he should be doing is, I guess what we'll do is when we get the snapshot, we won't do the copy on set snapshot. We'll actually do it on get snapshot, and that makes way more sense. So we do this here. This just sets the thing. We don't do any bullshit here. Yeah. And then maybe this works. So state alloc. We can't try here because there's no way to indicate failure. So I guess we will just panic in this case because we don't know what else to do. So this is state inner snapshot or state inner numclips, and we'll just say catch unreachable, I guess, for now, which is not really true, but we need to write something. Then we copy this like this. Yup. We don't assign this, but we do adjust the output. So we say like var ret is equal to state dot inner. Then we adjust the inner point, the ret clips pointer, and then return ret. I think that's right. I think that's right. Oops, I don't want to breakpoint. Okay. So it looks like we finally got there. It took us fucking an hour and 15 minutes, which is not great. But we finally got our one clip fed into the Rust side. Which was a bit of a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. But it is what it is. Cool. Okay. So, now let's add some UI to like interact with the clip in some way. Which I think is going to be whatever code we have for rendering the progress bar. I think we'll just do the same thing, but make it blue or something, or like yellow, or yeah, some other color. So, where is it? Handle zoom, show, it's probably here. So here we draw a rectangle. Yes, just draw rect. Okay, so we don't have to do anything. We do have this like position converter that works on the audio widget, which makes sense. I guess the clips are going to be shown within the progress bar, so it living here makes sense as well. And maybe we'll just make a function here that's like draw rectangle, and we'll take in something. I don't know what yet. I guess we'll just copy paste this here and we'll look at what it needs. He's clearly going to use a UI and an audio renderer. No, I think it's just the UI. Just the UI and self. Okay. Yeah. And he's going to return nothing, which is fine. And here we go. And I guess we also want the color of the thing we're going to draw, because we're going to change it. So this is eGUI color 32. Boom. We shove the color in here. And then we can call drawRect here. And I guess, wait, what are we doing here? We are converting the current position over the total runtime. So I guess we also need like the pause position in here. Pause. And what unit do we want this position in? Pause norm, I think, is what we want. Normalized position. So I think then everything else just stays the same. Cool. So then we can replace the self draw rect with the UI state current position over state total runtime and eGUI color 32 yellow. Rect not show, not in this scope. Okay. So we need to give it as well the, I guess, rect, I guess. So this is confusing. We'll call this bounds or widget. Yeah, widget bounds is a eGUI rect. And then we'll call rect here, widget bounds. For the conversion. I don't want to run GDB, actually. I want to run just raw dog the application, you know? So this is widget bounds like this. And did I get the order wrong here? Like this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Oops. There we go. There we go, baby. Okay, so this is drawing correctly, and now we should be able to just loop over our clips like we were down here. But instead of printing stuff, we can just draw a rectangle for these guys. So these are just going to be at their start, clip start, and clip end. And we will make them red, just for now. Give him a sec, he's got to think a little bit. His head hurts. It's a hard life. He's got to load from cache. Give him many secs. It does look like we have the red rendered here, and it is rendering on top of the progress bar, which I think is going to be what I want for when I inevitably start dragging them around. I think I want them to be thicker because I want to be able to grab them. So let's add a width parameter here. It doesn't really matter where. Width F32, set width to width. And then here we say this is going to be 2.0, and these are going to be like, I don't know, like 5.0. My poor disk. Look at him. He's thinking so hard. I can't even like load my fucking thing and run top. What is it all? OBS. It could be when OBS starts like flushing out stuff. It could be that I like line up with like disk writes of the video. That wouldn't be crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Oh well, it's okay. We'll just give him some time. He'll use his head a little bit. Give him some time. Okay, so those are thicker now. And I think that's fine. Okay, so let's make it so that when we grab them, we have to we want to be able to like action those in some way. So I guess there's got to be some way to like UI allocate we want to like allocate a rectangle that will give us a response handle. Right? Like we have this like allocate response thing where we pass in a size. I guess here it's kind of more like we want to allocate a rectangle. So we have like a specific section of the UI that we want, and we want to be able to like ask that thing about like input to it. Which I guess kind of means that this draw rect actually should, instead of drawing the rectangle, should give us a rectangle that we can work with. So we're gonna say like get calculate rect, I guess we'll call it. I don't know. I'm not like really happy with that, but we'll figure it out. And now we can like remove things from here. What can we remove? We can probably remove the UI. I don't think we need that, and I don't think we need the color either. I think we can get away with just these guys. Get wrecked. There was a point in my life where I played a lot of Dota 2, and at that point in time, you could color the text in the chat with like ANSI escape codes. And I wrote this program that just had like 50 rect puns, and when I pressed a button on my mouse, it would take those rect puns and stick them into all chat, and they would just be like things like get shreked, like I don't even know. They were like so fucking stupid, but I would just like spam that button every time I hit someone. Every time I like denied their creep, I would just hit the button, and man was it fun. Man, I sometimes miss it. I went back recently and started playing Dota again for a little bit, and I was like, this is the only time in my entire life that I'm unhappy is when I play that game, so I stopped. But like there's something about like, this is not true, obviously, but part of me feels like fun is kind of like net zero. And in order for you to like feel the highs that you feel when you're shitting on someone with wrecked puns in Dota, you have to feel the pain of when they're shitting on you. Because like the joy comes from the fact that you're taking the fun from someone else. You're stealing it from them. And like, oh, it was just so fun, but I should never go back. But man, yeah, very low lows, very high highs. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we can just return the progress vector here. And then this guy, whoever's calling draw rect before, is now going to call calculate rect. Do I prefer Rust or Zig? Right now I'm having a lot of fun with Zig. I think Rust has its place. I think Zig has its place. I don't really have like a sorted list of them. I think probably I thought that I would go back to Rust faster than but I have like no feeling of like a desire to go back right now, which is interesting. I think that if I were to like start a company right now, I would write in Rust. But there it's because like the like preventative measures of fucking up are like so aggressive that they like eat productivity. But when you're working with other people, I think that's worth it, because like you can't. It's harder to like have all of the state and everything in your own head, but I could be wrong about that. I could see a world where like you could come up with some good practices that make working with Zig like totally unbreakable, but yeah, not sure. At the very least, I'm having fun with it for now. Okay, so this is progress rect is equal to self calculate rect with the rect and this stuff, but without the color. And then we call UI painter paint rect fill rect filled. What was it called? What was it called? It was called rect filled, like this. Like this. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Okay, what is a 0? Oh, it's the border, right. Then here, instead of doing just the paint on these guys, I actually have to get the clip rect we still do want to draw this thing. So we're gonna do that. But we're also going to want a response item for this thing. So we're gonna pass this into cliprect here, and we're going to say, hey, I want to know when someone drags this thing. So this is click false, drag false, and focusable. Besides saying rest would be your third choice. I don't know, to be honest. I've written so like if you look at my GitHub, it's just like oh, that's not how you. It's just like Rust, right? So like Rust has been my go-to for like a long time. I don't think I would like choose to write in C++. I would maybe write C. I don't know if there would be like a reason for me to write C. Like maybe I would go up the stack. Maybe I would try some Go, I imagine. Java, obviously. I mean, I like haven't written Java since like university. I've just never come across it. And I struggle with like when I would want to use it. Yeah, I think it would just totally depend. I think it's unlikely that I would, if I was starting something, that I would choose something that wasn't Rust, honestly, at this point. Have I ever tried to? Nope. No, I have not. Okay, so on click, or on drag, we should do something. I don't know what. Let's just start by saying handle dragged, so we get some sort of feedback. Sense not found. I have to write egui sense here. Maybe I'm supposed to import all of these things, but I don't really give a fuck. Whatever. What's happening? Why is that red? Oh, because I'm not using the right thing. That would do it. That would do it. State. Oh, this is just clip.start. Right. Okay, so now this is here, and then when I click on this thing, I'm not getting any indication that he was clicked, which is concerning. I kind of expected to see that. So why? Why? Oh, because I didn't write true here. That would do it. Okay. So now he is telling me that he's dragging. And now on drag, I have to figure out where I want it to go. I've done this somewhere before. Drag. Oh, I just asked for the pointer position. That makes sense. So here, we say, hey, I want this pointer position. And then what? Then what? I guess I need this converter. I need the position in audio space. And then I see, yeah, okay. All of this is like the same, which kind of indicates that it should be factored out. But shut the fuck up. So here we're going to set the clip start. I guess we're copy the clip. Let edited clip is equal to clip. Then we say this is mutable. Edited clip dot start is equal to audio pause norm times self total runtime, or state total runtime. Yep. Then we send this edit clip, was it called? Clip edit, called it. And we send the edited clip. Seems like it could work. Expected clip, found clip. So here we put a little ampersand there. I don't know if I should move it in, whatever. Pointer should interact if dragging. Yeah, because I lost the if, what was it? Response dragged. It was just all of this goes like this. And then all of this goes like this. Okay. And now I think that we should see like spam edits of this guy. Now nothing actually happens, and we have invalid action 4 because we haven't implemented the handler for that thing yet. So let's look at in app.zig, we have to handle that case, which is just GUI action clip edit, and we'll say new clip. I guess we're gonna have to go into our like clip manager, or is that what we called it? I think it was clip manager. Edit update, I guess we'll call it, and we'll pass in action data clip. Right? Is that what we called it? It's been a while. Yeah, clip here. Self clip manager update, and then in our clip manager, we just have some pub function update takes in self clip manager. And he just says and the clip, which is a C clip. Yeah, and then we just say self clips at clip ID is equal to clip. Does that just work? No field clip manager, right? Because it's not directly in here. It's a reference, an external reference, of course. And then here, this has to be items. Give him a sec. He's got to think again. It's a hard life for him. Poor little guy. Okay. So if I drag this guy... Oh! I don't know what the fuck just happened. But it did something. He just kind of shot off into the fucking ether. I probably fucked up my conversion here. Okay, let's look at this a little closer. Let's look a little closer. So, where else? We did just do on seek. We just take the mouse position and do rec.audio on pause X and send that as a seek action. So the fact that it works for seek and not for clip start is a little bit odd to me. Self-clip feed, yeah. But I don't know why. So maybe we would just log what we did here. The fact that it moved is actually a really good sign, though, even though it's doing something fucking stupid. It does mean that we are correctly passing state back and forth, which is a big win. Okay, let's log any of just like action data clip. Let's just see how fucking stupid it is, whatever we're doing. Let's just see. So he's going immediately to the end? Why? What the fuck? Okay, so yeah, so what the fuck have we done here? What I've done. Dude, that Linkin Park album has got to be like one of the most formative albums that I ever listened to. It's like so embedded deep in my head. So it just must be that this like audio pause norm is just like fucked. Let's just go into our GDB script and set a breakpoint here. And then GDB-X. And let's just see what the fuck is going on here. P audio pause norm 0.5. Why? I clicked like here. P pause. This is X? X8? That makes a lot of sense. Right? Like, if we look at our Oh. I'm an idiot. That's why. This is wrong. We are converting relative to the response that we just drew, not our, like... yeah, so we just need to... We've got, like, some, like, name collision. Kind of interestingly, we actually can't... We don't know, it looks like, where this response was drawn. So this is, like, the outer widget response at the top level. We actually need to return this, like, inner response as well, because we don't know the outer response yet, I don't think. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll, call this, fuck. Fuck. What do we want to do here? I guess, like... Sorry, I need to articulate my thoughts. So what's happening here is we have, like... We're in the code that is laying out, like, the whole audio widget, right? And within that code, one of the things we're doing is we're asking to draw the clips start here. Boom, 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 boom. Now, the mapping of, like, what we actually clicked here depends on the size of this, but we don't know the size of this thing yet until the layout of this is finished. Because, like, say you were to, like, lay out, like, 3 things, like, just theoretically, if you were to put, like, a button down here and, like, maybe, like, a label, right, or something, like, now the rect height changes over time, so we don't know the size of this rect. I mean, we should know it, because it should, we just fill the whole thing. Actually, we do know it here. I was going to say, so we don't actually know this until we get back, but we do know that we're just filling the whole fucking thing. So we should just be able to say, widget rect is equal to, Yeah, we do have it here, actually. I'm a liar. So here we should just be able to say a clip response is this. Everywhere we were using response before is now just clip response. And then here we continue using, like, the outer response rect. And I think that works out, actually. But we will see. Okay, disable BR. Oops, I don't want to... Oh, look at that. That's sick. Okay, so maybe problematically, I think what I want, actually, is, I want the yellow bar to actually move with the red bar in this case, which is kind of odd expectation, but it means that, like, as I move the red bar, it will seek the video, which is exactly what I want. Probably. I think. So I wonder if we can say that, like, what's happening here is probably that this is, like, eating the response, and I wonder if you can, like, ask it to just continue, like, pass it through. Because I know that that's, like, a thing that you can usually do is you can say in GUI libraries, like, hey, if you're going to accept this click, can you, like, forward it onto the things underneath you? I wonder if this is, like, something that you say on the response itself. Oh, nothing in here is screaming out at me that it is something I can do. eGUI pass click to multiple widgets. eGUI do not consume click. How to determine? This isn't really what I want, I don't think. We might have to get into the eGUI code. We might have to. Or is there something else we can do? Event bubbling? Yeah, maybe eGUI event bubbling. That sounds like a good pass click event to the parent widgets. Almost every enter. Okay, wait, hold on. Main conflict is that we need a way to read input beforehand, draw after, blah, 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 blah. Is pointer down on stops any other widgets from being hovered is press down. The only thing that stops any other widgets from being hovered is press button. Gross. How do I know if eGUI handles an event? Is using pointer, wants keyboard input. None of this feels like what I want. None of it feels like what I want. So probably we need to look at what this like allocate rect function does in eGUI, I guess. I don't see another way. Allocate rect. This calls register rect and then self-interact on the rect. Okay, what does self-interact do? Calls context interact. And he has a layer ID and a rectangle. Okay. And then in context, we have interact. And what does he do? So he says like, hey, does the rect contain the pointer? Okay. Sure. So he must, if hovered, let this is equal to interact pause. Okay. Okay. So this is like many rectangles. And if the previous rect contains the pointer pause, at the pointer position, we aren't hovered. I see. So he only lets the hover end up at one place. And there doesn't look like there's a way to turn that off. Which is a bit annoying. But we could maybe, I guess we just have to handle it ourselves. Which is like fine. That's not like the end of the world. It just means that we don't use the dragged thing anymore for the seeking bar, for the seek bar, and we just manually manage. Yeah, I think we just manually manage the thing. Yeah, I think that's fine. Can't you just call the clip moving from the timeline direction? Oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Wow, you're smart, and I'm a dumbass. Of fucking course. Yeah, of course. We just send this. Oh, thank you so much. You just saved me so much time, because I would have done something fucking stupid there. I would have done something so fucking stupid. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, yeah. That's great. I mean, it doesn't... when we drag this, it, like, pauses and plays the video. But we can always come back to that. I'll fix that later. It just means that, I guess it's more that we have this, like, handle response. And we could maybe call handle seek. We actually might just be able to call handle seek on that, actually. No, because he's yeah, he's doing all sorts of other shit. So we'll just have to update handle seek to... He will still actually have to handle this by not using the response. But that's okay. It's okay. It's fine. We'll come back to that. I will just fix me here and say, fix me, pause, handle, pause, state, etc. Okay. Now we only are rendering the first one. Let's just do the second one as well. So clip rect is the start, blah, blah, blah. Does this easily turn into a function? What has to change for the end? This has to change. And this has to change. And then we do this at the end. Okay. It's okay, we'll put this here, and then we will put this down here. Sorry, here. I'm going to have to clean this up eventually, so for now, I'm not going to worry too much. Does this just render, like... This we will pull out. We will pull out this assignment. That's what we'll do. So we will take all of this. Sorry, just thinking. Yeah, we'll take all of this and stick it in a function. I don't know what that function is going to be called. We'll call it function render clip border. And just see what it yields us about. So he's going to need to take in action tx for sure. I guess we'll just take all of this stuff and then see what it doesn't need. That's probably an easier way of doing this. And then he is actually not going to yell at me because I don't have my language server enabled because it takes up too much memory. So I guess we will just pass it all for now and it will yell at us. And he actually has to return. He has to return the clip position. So this is just going to say if clip response, we return this. Else, none, I guess. Yes, so this is an option. So this will tell us if we dragged the thing. And then down here, we'll just say if let sum pause is equal to self render clip border. Yes, with all of our parameters, UI state, action tx, and audio render, which is surely not needed, but that's okay. We just say edited clip start is equal to pause. And we clearly have to pass this in somewhere as well. Pretty blatantly. So let's figure out where that goes. Then all this goes away, and then we do this again. But for the end. Okay. Then we should only do this if it changed. So for now, I don't like using these parameters, but we're going to do it for now. Because it's the easiest way to get what I want. I will probably factor this out into something else later. We don't put brackets in this language. Okay. This guy obviously needs a parameter for pause. It's fine. Like this. And I think everything else just works. I think. Of course not. Why would it? Okay, so I need the rect. eGUI rect. Which I don't even know what that rectangle was. Clip rect. Clip response. Did I lose something? Yeah, this is the parent rectangle. So here he is supposed to be response rect or something. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. But it is fine. We will live. Response rect not found in this scope, so... It's okay, we just do this here. I hope that was the same rectangle that we were supposed to use there. Audio renderer, so we just won't pass this in because I'm pretty sure we don't fucking need it. If we need it, I'll be shocked. Okay. Okay. Wait, that's kind of working. That's not bad at all. Okay, now all we have to do is, like, make it so that something happens with that. Okay. Okay. So let's go to... I guess we want to end... there's no, like, start playback, really. Because just clicking on the thing will immediately start the playback. We'll, like, move the cursor there. But we do want to make sure that the playback ends at the end of the clip. So... how do we do that? How do we do that? I guess it's going to be something like... when we grab the next frame, we must do something. It's update video frame. And so here we say, hey, is the next video frame the end of the video? But instead we have to do something else. Instead we have to say, is it the end of the clip? Which means that we could just do something like no looping. I don't think I want looping. Because eventually what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to jump to the next clip. But for now, I think I just want to set it as, like, stop. I think. Okay. So here we get the next video frame. We say, hey, if it's the end of the video, we set the end of the video, which just pauses us and sets the last PTS and then asks for an update. I mean, we know that we're going to have to get into the clip manager. And I guess we want to know which clip we're in right now. So maybe we're going to do something like which... do we want to, like... we could, like, cache which clip we're currently playing and then just, like, update it. Or we could ask this clip manager which clip we're in right now. That's, like, a little less stateful, which is kind of nice. And I think that it should be pretty cheap. Could you, like, fetch next available pause and none if pause, which are two different pauses. One of those is POS and one of those is PAUSE. Maybe. Not sure. Okay, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. I want to say, get, which clip am I in? Clip for PTS. Yeah. And this will return a clip. And so we'll just say, we'll just walk the clips. So, for self clip items, clip, if PTS is greater than clip start, I guess we'll maybe do inclusive for both the start and the end. And PTS is less than or equal to clip end. Return clip. This has to be and in this language, not ampersands. And this has to be an optional. If we get to the end of this, we return null. This needs a semicolon. And then here, we say const clip for PTS is equal to self refs clip manager clip for PTS. And then we pass in self last PTS, I guess. And we say if new image PTS is greater than clip for PTS end. I guess we kind of want to pause. If... yeah, so if we're not in a clip, that's fine, we'll just do nothing. So if we are in a clip, if clip for PTS, and we are out of bounds for that thing, C shadows declaration, shadows, declaration of C. There's another C in here. That's got to be a lie, right? I don't see another C in this. Oh, oops, C for the C imports. That's funny. Call it CL. Hold on. Okay. Then we have to do something, which is just pause. Player state pause now. And we ask the GUI for an update. And then, do we want to use this image? I think it doesn't matter. We'll be off by 1 frame if it's wrong, but it doesn't really matter. No. Yes. Break. Yeah, okay. And then I guess in this case, we have to deallocate the new image. Because we're not using it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Defer new image deinit, because this needs to be var now, I guess, so that we can deallocate. We'll give him a second to go to think again. Still thinking, still thinking. Poor little guy. His head hurts. And I'll get there. This is what would be perfect to cut out. Just like... It gets worse and worse, man, I swear. I wonder if it is, like, because the video that OBS is recording is getting larger and larger, the amount of buffered data that is ending up in, like, that is available for compilation is maybe decreasing over time. That seems possible. Seems possible. Okay, so let's get us into the clip. It's kind of short. And let's just see if it stops here. Oh, hell yeah, baby. And we can keep playing outside. This is kind of weird because when it enters a clip, it's going to pause when we hit here, which is a little odd. I don't know if that's necessarily what we want, right? Maybe is it like better UX for us to select a clip for playback? Maybe? I'll have to think about that. I think for now this is fine. And then we're just going to make let's do this. Let's do this. Let's make a second clip and try jumping between them. And I think that'll be like kind of a good place to end it for the day, is if we can get like a jump between 2 clips. Usually it's select a clip, then repeats with spacebar. But that's not what I want. I want like to preview the video that I'm exporting. So I want it to jump from one clip to the next. More than I want it to replay the same clip. Because replaying the same clip is like useless to me. I already know how it ended. Right? Like, this is more for like interclip stuff. So maybe what we'll do for now is let's just start by pushing 2 clips that have the same, we'll just push the same clip twice. And we will color each clip differently in the UI so that we can identify which is which. Maybe you could fill the region with transparent red. Yeah, I was going to do that. I was going to make it transparent, and then if you have multiple overlapping, then they'll kind of tint and double up. But that's kind of a improvement for later, right? Right now I'm just trying to like prove, like get like the UI stuff I think is like the most boring part. And so I want to get like the other stuff working first, and then I can do like UI bullshit off screen. I'm not really too worried about it. But we do need to get enough of UI working so that we can test it. So, where the fuck are we supposed to be? Here. Here we're just going to have to like maybe we'll start by just saying const colors is equal to egui color 32 red and egui color 32 green. Really fuck the red-green color line, people. You know? This is going to be 2 of them. And then we will just, for now, render the color based off of that. So render clip border is going to have to take in a color. Which we put here. Would multiple overlapping not just be the same as merging them together? I think that the way I'm going to have that work is that they're going to replay the same thing more than once. I think that's like more useful to me. But this is just like kind of more of a test anyways, so I'm not really too worried about it. This is going to be colors I, and I'm just not going to worry about the fact that this is going to crash if I is greater than 2, because I don't have to. I don't have to. And then how are they communicating? C, F, and I. So they're in the same process, and they're just like sharing memory, and just since they both talk C, there's no problemo. Okay. These need to be I as U size for both of these. And we should end up with a green and red set of bars that we can drag now. So green is, one of them is on top, and that's fine. They're using, fuck. Okay, so I think that there's some sort of bullshit happening here where egui, when I allocate the rectangle, is like doing some sort of internal caching. So this comes from, like, these guys should have IDs associated with them. I don't really understand why they actually don't here. I was gonna say that they're like clobbering each other, but they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Let's try this again. Okay, red, red, red. Oh, I know why. I know why. That's egui is doing the right thing, and we were not doing the right thing in our clip manager. We need to appropriately set the IDs when we push them in, because we're just using them as indexes when we edit. So I think that should fix it. Yeah, nice. Okay. So theoretically now, if we were to do something like this, we should be able to go here, and once we implement the feature, when we get to the end of the clip, it should just immediately jump here is what we want. So we can do something like, here instead of pausing, we basically will try to seek to the next clip start. So I guess we'll say if the clip manager item, clips items len is greater than clip for PTS ID. That feels wrong. 0 indexing. So this first of all should be CL ID, and this should be if this is greater than or equal to, no. Greater than ID plus 1. Is that right? So if ID is 0, can we do it this way? If this is less than or equal to ID, so this is 1, this will flag, then we pause. Else, we try to access the next one. Which I think I got right here. So if ID is 0 and len is 2, this ID is 0, len is 2. No, this is just fucking wrong. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. If CL ID plus 1 is less than that. then we do this. Else we do that. So this is, if our ID is 0, this will get incremented to 1, which is not less than 1, but it is less than 2. And then we will just try to seek to this thing. So cl ID plus 1 dot start. And we just say self seek to PTS. Like this. Like this, like this, like this. And that actually might be enough, to be honest. It might just work. Will you eventually be able to do out-of-order clips so you can jump backwards? I think that we can actually do out-of-order clips right now if this works. Because red and green are ordered by, like, red then green. So I think that actually might just work, to be honest. And my plan is not to limit that, because I can see a world where I might want to, like, I might even want to repeat the same segment over and over again if I want to go, like, you know, do, like, a meme edit of going, like, dot, 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 you know, like, that type of, like, where you repeat the same thing happening over and over again to draw attention. Right, and eventually have clips panels order them. Exactly is that's what I was thinking. And I want them, like, named and stuff, too. So, okay. Pause this. Let's do this. Let's kind of bring these guys close together, then bring green over here. We have to be careful about ordering start and end here, but I'm kind of hoping now that if we do this... Oh, it's beautiful! That's so fucking sick, baby! Okay. Wait, so let's pull this open on my VOD. Yo, it's okay. And let's try, like, let's get crazy here. And let's try cutting out some dead air. Oh, fuck, I swapped the order. Right, so if we were like to just to go in here and look for like an area where there's like some like dead space, like here. Right, so we can like clip this, and then bring this guy over as well. UI to be improved. But let's just see if this like does what I want it to do. So where does this paint list go? Where does it go? Oh, so fucking sick. Where does this paint list go? Where does it go? Wait, it actually kind of works. Where does it? That's so sick. Okay. And then it should just end on the last one. Where does it go? Yeah, that's sick. That's so sick. This is like usable. All we have to do is export the clip list, and like you could just dump it as JSON and then like copy paste this timestamps into FFmpeg or something. But that's like actually usable at this point, which is pretty sick. Obviously, there's a couple things that need to be done here, right? We should highlight the sections here. We should make it so that you can't drag the start past the end, because that just fucks shit up. We need to add like a little bit of like an interface for modifying the number of clips and stuff on the left. But overall, and then like maybe integrate like FFmpeg encoding. But overall, like this is super satisfying. Super satisfying. Where does it go? Yeah. Okay. I think that's a pretty exciting spot to call it for the day. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 2 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4 o'clock Pacific time now. So if you are watching live, it's like around 2 hours ago is when we would start. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to do the conversion, but there's a Twitch link in the YouTube description. If you want to swing by, say hi, check us out. If you're watching on Twitch and you're new, there is a YouTube channel here where we have all of the projects that we've been working on organized by category. So right now we're working on this video editor, but you know, the theme of the channel is kind of more just whatever the fuck we feel like doing, which kind of trends towards low level, but kind of bounces around. So we were working on this QR code decoder. There was like a operating system, file system, like terminal emulator, Git GUI, you know, stream intro screen, like whatever the fuck we feel like. And that's there. So if you want to check that out, that's there. There's also a GitHub link in the Twitch description where all code for most of the project goes up. I think occasionally we miss it, but for the most part, it's there. What else? You got to do that shit where we say like and subscribe, and don't forget to use your Twitch primes. I think tomorrow I'll probably skip because I want to take a break before going for the next weekend, but we'll be back on, what day is it? Today's Tuesday, right? So we'll be back on Thursday, and I'm not sure if I'm going to like hit some UI stuff in between then. I might do the like some of the boring stuff there. So on Thursday, we'll either be looking at UI on this thing, or we'll jump into the OpenWhisper like subtitle stuff. More likely the OpenWhisper stuff, probably, because I'll probably spend tomorrow working on UI. So I think that's it. Goodbye, YouTube and Twitch viewers. Let's figure out who to raid.